Secrets of the Mormon Temple revealed, anti-Mormon propaganda and lies on the internet, protecting your seminary student from lying Christian anti-Mormons. I don't know. This is going to be pretty interesting. I'm going to reveal some things about the secrets and secret doctrines of Mormonism, and the reason LDS youth don't know squat about the doctrines taught. The secrets of the Mormon Temple revealed, anti-Mormon propaganda and lies on the internet, protecting your seminary student from lying Christian anti-Mormons. I don't know. This is going to be pretty interesting. I'm going to reveal some things about the secrets and secret doctrines of Mormonism, and the reason LDS youth don't know squat about the doctrines taught by the early brethren like Brigham Young and his buddies, and address some of the many things that Mormon youth and other LDS people put up with from Christians who are always nagging on Mormons for not being Christians, for following another Jesus, things like that. I will anticipate that a lot of people who listen to this are going to learn a few things today about Mormonism. Who's telling the truth and who's lying? Are the Christians all liars with their anti-Mormon accusations? What about the ex-Mormon apostates? What about the critics? What about the faithful Latter-day Saints? What about the New Order Mormons? What about the weird stuff that's happening these days, it seems, at general conferences when lots of people vote against sustaining the Quorum of the 12 and the First Presidency, and then are told to go take it to their stake presidents. Yeah. Why? Because their vote's going to count? No. Okay, so, let's get started. Where do we start? What are the first anti-Mormon accusations you've heard about Joseph Smith? So did you watch South Park? Have you read about that? What's the deal with the magic rock in the hat? Translating the Book of Mormon. Is that a bunch of made-up baloney? Did the missionaries tell you about that? Or did you grow up in primary singing about the magic cedar stone? Probably not. But why are people telling you about it? Is South Park just a bunch of lies? Or were they former active Mormons that decided to do some research? Okay, so Joseph Smith, what's the real historical deal? Was he seeking religion as a 14-year-old boy, going to religious revival meetings, then reading James chapter 1 verse 5 and deciding that he had a spiritual feeling urging him to follow the admonition of James and go deep into the woods to seek the Lord and ask which of all the denominations was true. Is that the truth? Or what about the version that says Joseph Smith was a junior magician? He started looking through the cedar stone at a young age, like about 13 years old maybe. Because a young girl in the neighborhood area let him borrow her cedar stone. And then he got a hold of the cedar stone himself. Basically, borrowed it and never gave it back from Willard Chase, Mason Chase, I don't know. Family members digging a well in the property there of the Chase family. They find the cedar stone, and it looked so nifty. Joseph Smith threw it in his hat, started checking it out to see if he could see visions in it, like a crystal ball. What's the deal with that? Well, you know, there are plenty of accounts about that, lots of primary source material to read about, and I have done several videos on magic and Mormonism, so actually there's plenty on that, and so there's enough that have gotten out that the church finally put the brown Easter egg looking seer stone from the first presidency's secret vault, or vault of secrets, vault of sacred items, on the internet, on LDS.org, and admitted a few things. So does that mean the church is becoming transparent, as people would like to say? Is LDS apologists with knowledge, or are they still just changing their story as they have done for the last 197 years? Is that really what the truth is? 187, isn't it? 87, yeah, okay. I mean, what's the truth of this? So Joseph Smith, practicing magician, well, there are plenty of resources to read on that. I've read plenty, and I've got several on the Mormon Truth videos here in the Dodger Game channel. So, you can evaluate the material and see for yourself what you think about that. Yes, there is plenty of it. Joseph Smith appears to have been involved in treasure seeking as the seer, as the scryer, as the crystal gazer, looking at a magic stone, a seer stone. So he wrote seer stones into some of the scriptures, like in the Book of Mormon, in Alma, in Ether, chapter 3. We learn about magic spectacles, we learn about glowing stones, we learn about a stone that would shine forth, reveal the truth of this wicked, secret abomination in Alma. And then Joseph Smith says he got to recover the magic spectacles, which he called interpreters. In order to interpret the Book of Mormon, like basically peering through magic glasses at golden plates, is what we're at least led to believe. Except for Emma, David Whitmer said he was using the regular, well, not regular, the wonderful brown rock that he put in his hat, his seer stone, that he'd been using for many years before publishing the Book of Mormon. Using for magical purposes, and yes, even LDS.org essay writers are admitting some of that, although they try to like actors with things. So, Joseph Smith involved in practicing magic. According to LDS.org, basically, they've admitted that. But they give you as little as possible and try to make them, like I said, okay. In case you've ever read the book of Isaiah, or the parts of it that were copied in to 2nd Nephi, and notice that wizards that peep and mutter are condemned. And peeping at peep stones, which is another name for seer stones, and muttering because your face is in a hat while you're looking at them to block out the light so you can see that it's shining like your iPhone. Except it doesn't have anything high-tech in it. And it doesn't even happen to be transparent like a crystal ball. So I've never actually seen anyone use one. But that's what Joseph Smith used as a scryer. That's how we met Emma. Because he was hanging out, he was staying at the Hale's home when he was the scryer for the Josiah Stoll expedition. 150 miles away from home, Josiah Stoll came all that way to find Joseph Smith because it was said that he had possessed certain keys. He had the ability as a crystal gazer to see things that were not visible to the natural eye. Okay, so, yeah, there's a lot of truth to that. You want details, watch my videos on it in this channel. Okay, next, the necromancy. In other words, sacrificing animals like black dogs, black sheep, black goats. In the middle of the night, using a magic knife to draw magic circles and use all sorts of incantations and magic parchments and all that sort of thing. Practicing the faculty of Abraham, as Joseph Smith's mother, worded it. Yeah, there's plenty on that in there too. Brigham Young and his bloodstones, that he used his magic charm. How about magic underwear? You've heard that, haven't you? The temple garments, the sacred temple garments. Has the LDS Church been honest? They published, talking about hanging someone's laundry out to dry, for the neighbors to see. They're unmentionable. Well, it was actually the church that put the unmentionables on the internet this time. So you may have seen, was it Mormon.org or Mormon Newsroom? I think it was Mormon Newsroom that put temple garments on there. And basically tried to tell us that, no, they're not magic underwear. They're simply Mormons acting like Jews. They just don't put their underwear on their head. Yeah. Catholics in their robes and other people with their other various normally visible pieces of religious clothing, and then just say, Mormons just wear these garments in order to remind them that they're Mormon. Remind them not to stop into their local brothel because they might be embarrassed while they're taking off their garments. Well, they don't exactly say that, but basically they say, yeah, you wear these things to remind you, when nobody else can see them, that you have made covenants in the temple. What covenants have you made in the temple? What about the secret Mormon temple rites and covenants? Should we talk about that? Well, there will be certain things that we can talk about, but certain things that we will not talk about or get into detail on, out of respect for people who hold those things sacred. I don't believe in hanging people's laundry out to dry. Nice people. Although we've seen a lot of that sort of thing on the internet. Now, anyway, the magic underwear. Yes, basically, it is like a magic charm. Most people don't know much about magic because they've been brainwashed by Disney. Or at least smothered with BS and propaganda, telling us that magic is just some sort of fantasy thing. Magic is the Luciferian religion. Magic is part of Freemasonry at the higher level, and witchcraft. Magic is methodology of exercising faith in beings from the unseen world that Christians would interpret in their belief system as demons. So, magic charms are basically, in this particular case, a protection against other magic, against the power of the destroyer. For instance, yes, Mormons are promised that the garments will protect them against powers of darkness and evil, essentially, or the powers of the destroyer, until their mission upon the earth is finished. Some people might consider me having spoken too much saying that, but that happens to be the truth. The LDS Church put the garments on the internet and then lied about the purpose. The purpose, or the stated purpose, the stated value of them is to protect people from the unseen world of darkness, of evil. And there have been many stories told of how people have had physical world situations like car wrecks or been in a fire or something, and the garment protected them in the physical world. But it also has to do with counteracting magic. Although the word magic is not used in the LDS temple endowment. So the church leaders who direct things have been, once again, deliberately deceptive in what they put out, just trying to act like it's just some ordinary, something like everybody else's religious clothing. But no, it's supposedly to protect against the powers of the devil, or the powers of the destroyer, to be specific, whoever or whatever that is. The destroyer was upon the waters and was basically the devil in the vision Joseph Smith discussed, having to do with the power of the destroyer upon the waters in the latter days, and riding upon the Ohio or Mississippi River or something. So, Mormonism and magic? Yes, there's lots of talk of magic in Mormonism in the early days. We don't hear much anymore. Okay, so, what's the next item on here? Christians accusing Mormons of worshiping or following a different Jesus. I've even actually seen Mormons saying that they worship Jesus on the internet. I'm pretty sure Bruce McConkie, Elder Bruce R. McConkie, who wrote Mormon Doctrine, stated something to the effect that the only being that is worshipped would be God the Father, not Jesus Christ. But I'm not looking at it right now, so look it up yourself. Mormons following a different Jesus. You always hear that from Christians. Heck yes, Mormons follow a different Jesus. So what? You don't like it? Who cares? Mormons believe in a Jesus whose brother was Lucifer. Yep, that's right. What about it? Christians, you believe that God created the devil. So God created the devil so that he could torment people and ruin their lies? Or he said he didn't realize what the devil would do? Well, wait a minute. I thought you believed that God was all-knowing. So he knew ahead of time what he was doing, and he created the devil to ruin people's lives. So, how's your God? Pretty nice of him, huh? Anyway, so what? Yeah, Mormons believe that. Too bad. Do Mormons believe that they will become gods? Do Mormons believe the very closely related thing that they'll have their own planet, like is popularized in the movie? Well, you know what? I've seen people, so many things about that sort of thing on the internet. And we saw President Gordon B. Hinckley basically trying to deny Mormon doctrine in national interviews multiple times. Why would he deny the teachings that were common to the LDS faith? Why do Mormon children now not know what their Mormon forefathers taught? Why do they not think it's doctrine? Well, because the brethren keep changing the tune. They change the tune about a lot of things. Should we start back earlier? Joseph Smith and the Cedar Stone. Joseph Smith, the magician. Joseph Smith claimed that he had located plates of gold. Some stories say they were located through the Cedar Stone. Then later, the guardian angel or guardian demon spirit treasure, guardian becomes an angel. And Joseph Smith publishes that an angel told him about these golden plates. 3 different places he published it, saying that he said he was a messenger sent from the presence of God, and that his name was Nephi. Nephi, not Moroni. That was published in the Pearl of Great Price. I think it was 1835 edition. Could be wrong. It was published in 2 other LDS publications, or what we'll call LDS, Mormon publications. Could have been the Millennial Star or the Messenger and Advocate. I don't remember, but I have read it and I've seen photocopies of these. Yep. So where did Moroni come from? I've read that Orson Pratt is the one that came up with that. Changed the Joseph Smith history saying it was Moroni rather than Nephi. Well, is that important? Well, yes, it's important. It's important because Joseph Smith says one thing and then he changes it. Just like this first vision business that you hear about. That wasn't even published until 1842. Supposedly written in 1838, but it wasn't written by Joseph Smith. It was written by Murdoch, his secretary. In the first person, mind you. It's nothing like the first vision stories that started coming out in about 1832. Before that, there was nothing. And none of them were claiming a vision in 1820. And none of them were claiming a God the Father and Jesus Christ visit. None of the interviews with his family members seem to indicate that at all. I covered that in multiple, heavily documented first vision-related videos. So, Joseph Smith changed his story. Joseph Smith covered up his treasure-seeking and necromancy, magic, and essentially witchcraft in that Joseph Smith history where he says, hey, I got all this nasty reputation just because I was digging holes for Josiah's soul. Or pretty close to saying that. When, in fact, he was the crystal caser for the operation, not the digger. Let's put it this way. Rich gentlemen don't travel 150 miles on horseback or however the hell they got there, and it wasn't by car, to go find somebody to dig on their property. There were plenty of diggers available close to where Mr. Stoll resided. He had fired his seer and was looking for the best magician around. Mormon apologists and leaders keep changing and obfuscating Mormon history because it doesn't look good. It looked good when the church changed its name from the original name or the next name. Why? Because Jesus is supposed to be guiding the LDS Church. He's supposed to be all-knowing or omniscient. He should have known that it just wouldn't work out to name the Church of Christ, which it was named from about 1830 to 1834. I've never seen a statement as to why the church's name was changed at that time to the Church of the Latter-day Saints in 1834-ish. I suspect it was probably because Joseph Smith wanted to be able to expand business throughout the country and maybe the world. but the name the Church of Christ appears to have been taken in the 1820s, with the Church of Christ originating, I believe, in around Kentucky. So that might have been the reason to give the church a name change. Apparently Jesus wasn't aware of this and didn't see these problems coming. Apparently Jesus forgot that he told the Nephites in the Book of Mormon that they needed to keep his name in the church if it was going to be his church. If I can quote, he said something like, "Howbeit my church, they would be called in my name. For if it be in John's name, then it's John's church. If it's in Moses' name, that must be Moses' church. But if it's in my name, then it's my church. If it so be that they are built upon my gospel." That's pretty close to what it says. You can check yourself. And no, I never went to scripture mastery. Okay, so that just doesn't look good for multiple reasons that you can think about. That's why LDS historian and prophet and apostle Joseph Fielding Smith lied about that. That's why he lied about it in his book called Essentials in Church History. And that's why I took photocopies of the lies and put it in a couple of my videos. Because he was a church historian and an apostle and became the president of the church and was willing to lie about it to mislead people so they wouldn't notice that Jesus couldn't make up his mind, didn't realize what the heck was going on when he gave the first two names of the church, etc., and forgot his own rules about keeping his name in it. It didn't look good. Apparently, that's the same sort of thing that Gordon B. Hinckley thought when he lied about it in Truth Restored, the book that he wrote. Okay, enough of that. What else is really weird about Mormonism? What are some more of these strange things the Mormons are accused of? And why do the brethren keep covering up and lying and changing their story? Well, what about Joseph Smith and other men's wives? What's the polygamy story that you heard in church? What did I hear? Long, long ago. Almost way back when elephants, curlongs, and cumans roamed the earth, according to the Book of Mormon. Well, not quite that far back. But what I was taught was that God revealed to Joseph Smith that he was going to have to be a polygamist, because God was restoring to the earth all things in the dispensation of the fullness of time. I was taught that Joseph Smith, being a faithful husband to Emma, didn't like the idea, but that God made him do it. Kind of like those bumper stickers they used to have a long time ago that said, "The devil made me do it." Well, Joseph's bumper sticker was, "Jesus made me do it." Or, according to some women, it was, "An angel with a flaming sword made me do it." At any rate, it really disturbed me, because I didn't like the idea of being forced into polygamy. Now, if somebody wants to practice it, if there's a guy and a couple of girls, a couple of sisters want to marry him, you know what? As far as I'm concerned, if they're all consenting parties, that's fine with me. Well, forcing people into that kind of a situation in order to get into the celestial kingdom seems really wrong. And if you're a young member of the church, you might not know that that was the doctrine. You might say, "That's not true at all." Sorry, it is the truth, and it was the doctrine. So we were taught Joseph Smith had to live the law of polygamy, or the celestial law, or the new and everlasting covenant. He was forced into it by God. So let's think about that. God was forcing him to break his marriage covenant, because when Emma married him, she was agreeing to the marriage contract upon certain terms. Those terms included Joseph would cleave unto her and none else. He would forsake all other women, and she would forsake all other men. Those are common terms in the marriage contract. So we are to believe that God commanded him to break his sacred covenants with Emma, to disregard and break the contract, the legally binding contract of marriage, and commit adultery. Yes, even if God commanded it, it is adultery by definition. It is breaking a contract and a covenant. It is violation of a contract and what is supposed to be the most sacred covenant a man and woman make. It's said in Genesis that God commanded this practice. So it sounds pretty contradictory. So anyway, we have LDS apologists that really give us a snow job on this whole deal. Now, I had heard that, and that's what I was taught. I didn't like it, but it sounded like Joseph Smith was saying that God just pulls upon your heartstrings, and if you can't take it, you're damned. Well, basically, he did say that. So, this was something Joseph just had to accept, and they don't talk about the fact that God was telling him to break his covenant with Emma. In other words, God has no integrity, according to this story. I see LDS people, probably teenagers, saying that on the internet, in comments on YouTube videos, things like, they just practiced polygamy because Joseph Smith was supporting all these other women whose husbands died, or that the early leaders were doing this to support women whose husbands died while crossing the plain, which obviously happened after Joseph Smith was dead. No, Joseph Smith was not caring for these women. He didn't even have a job. What did he ever do to support his family? What did he ever do that was actually productive? Or didn't he just basically take money from other people because he was preaching religion? We read about Brigham Young having various businesses. He was very much involved in businesses, we are told. Even if he did borrow and not completely repay tithing funds to start his businesses. At least, those are things I've read, although I'm not going to try to substantiate that here. But Joseph Smith, what did he ever do to earn a living? As far as I can see, basically nothing. At least not after he published the Book of Mormon. He just had revelations that said that they needed to support him. I believe I've read that he demanded a salary or an allowance of about $1,200 a month at one point. $1,200 a month was a lot of money back then, especially for if you consider that in Kirtland you could buy an acre of land for about $7 when things got there. And a few years later, it reached as high as, I believe, about $47 per acre. That's pretty wild considering when you think about what money was worth back then. Well, that's a lot of allowance. So how did Joseph Smith wind up with a mansion house? A mansion house with lots of rooms. And sometimes there were teenage girls living in those rooms. Joseph and Emma cared for, supposedly, the Lawrence girls, a couple of girls whose parents died, so they were orphaned. Orphan girls in a home where Joseph Smith lived was basically not very safe for their virtue, from what we can see. Fanny Alger wound up pregnant, although there are people who dispute that. And according to Emma, or her friend, Emma observed Joseph busily impregnating Fanny in the barn. Interesting name that she had, Fanny. So anyway, Joseph Smith, in about 1833, I believe, long before any supposed revelations on eternal marriage or sealing or Elijah coming to restore any priesthood were ever had, Joseph was having some Fanny in the barn. Well, some of Fanny Alger, should I say. So Emma kicked her out of the house. She'd been living with the Smiths. She was an orphan girl and doing a little housework, I suppose, some nannying. But Joseph apparently wanted her to do some fannying, and it just didn't please Emma. So the girl was kicked out. Appallingly, I should say. I think if you take a look at FamilySearch.org, a website owned by the church, you may find Fanny shown as Joseph Smith's first plural wife. By what authority? By what law? When she was sealed to him, why didn't she stay with him? Why did Emma boot her out? When Joseph fertilized her. So she gets to leave, be an orphan girl on the streets, carrying an illegitimate daughter of a holy prophet. That sounds like a great plan, Heavenly Father. Although Joseph Smith said, we don't have any revelations from him on the subject at that time. So apparently they've backdated the authority to cause her to be sealed to Joseph Smith to make it all look okay. So she's one of like 33 women supposedly sealed to Joseph. What about the 10 of them that were other dudes' wives? That's right. They didn't tell you that in gospel doctrine? 10 of the women that the LDS Church chose as sealed to Joseph Smith were actually married to other guys. Was Joseph Smith sexually sharing these women? Many people think so, and there are definitely diary entries and even sworn statements that indicate that. Although LDS apologists such as Brian Hale argue that we cannot prove that Joseph Smith was having intimate relations with these other men's wives. Why did LDS.org show them the seal to Joseph Smith? And why did they not talk about the elephant in the room? The fact that if celestial glory and eternal families are so important in LDS doctrine now, why would Joseph Smith be destroying people's families by stealing the wives of these 10 men? What happened to their family when the wife was sealed to Joseph and the man had nobody? Did the children go also? A man lost his wife and children because Joseph wanted his wife? That's a lovely thing to think about, isn't it? Joseph Smith, the eternal family homewrecker. Even if he wasn't getting frisky with their wives, they lost their wives and children to Joseph Smith for all eternity. Lovely doctrine. Thank you, Jesus. Okay, does that sound a little disturbing? Do you have to do some thinking now? Joseph Smith taking other men's wives for all eternity? Joseph Smith commanded by God to do something that breaks the covenant of his marriage, the legal contract upon which his wife married him, in which he agreed to be bound? Where is God's integrity? We could ask, where was it in the Bible? But I don't want to get into that right now. What else have the Mormon apologists and LDS leaders obfuscated, changed, or lied about to us? Shall we talk about the temple even more? What are the secrets of the Mormon temple? Well, we've heard that there are secret signs and tokens, like secret passwords, that sort of thing, secret handshakes. Well, what's the story of this? What are the specifics? Well, we're not going to be discussing the names of the secret handshakes or anything like that. But we do know that Joseph Smith wrote things in or published the Book of Mormon and the Book of Moses, which talk about secret combinations, where they used secret signs that they could identify a brother. What these things did basically illustrate a problem that they were discussing much at the time of Joseph Smith publishing the Book of Mormon, oddly enough. And that was the secrets of Freemasonry. That was the influence of secret Freemasons, the secret society, or secretive aspect of Freemasonry, which is not a secret society necessarily, but there are rumors of a secret society being within this secretive society. Yes, the Book of Mormon and the Book of Moses talk about these secret combinations and describe, essentially eliminated Freemasonry. Oddly enough, Joseph Smith joins the Freemasons, who, by the way, are described by their upper-end leaders, such as Albert Pike in his huge book, Morals and Dogma, the Ancient and Accepted Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, if I got the title exactly right there. The need to obtain the light and true doctrines of Lucifer, and to harness the seething energies of Lucifer. Both Manly P. Hall and Albert Pike discussed the pure Luciferian doctrine. These were 33rd degree Freemasons. Albert Pike was like the Grand Supreme Commander, all these names that sound like, secret society and Ku Klux Klan, which I believe he also participated in founding, are in Mormonism. Excuse me. Did I say that? They are in Masonry, and Masonry is in Mormonism. So Joseph Smith joins the Freemasons and then introduces secret signs and tokens associated with the York Rite of Freemasonry into the LDS Temple Endowment in May of 1842, about 7 weeks after him joining the Freemasons. Now, this is pretty disturbing when you consider that we're supposed to have believed that Joseph Smith received the endowment as a revelation from Jesus Christ, not by joining a secret combination, which is condemned by the Book of Mormon. And then later, actually even earlier, the Danites became part of Mormonism, and the apologists will probably try to distance Joseph Smith and Sidney Rigdon from it and blame it all on Samson Abard. A secret combination deeply resembling illuminated Freemasonry within the church that robbed and murdered, and continues to do so to this day, although they will deny that for sure. I cannot prove it, and I'm not going to try to, but there is plenty of reason to believe that, and there are testimonies of those who were loyal to Brigham Young testifying that he did use the Danites as his hit squad, murdering people many years after Joseph Smith was dead. And I'm not just talking about the Mountain Meadows Massacre. Okay, so Joseph Smith introduces basically elements of a secretive society, and their secret blood oaths into the temple endowment. Blood oaths means that the Freemasons were sworn to secrecy about what certain secret handshakes or other secret signs, such as are basically being described in the Book of Mormon. They were sworn that basically, if they revealed these things, they would be murdered in some very descriptive and gruesome fashion. These things were adopted into the LDS Temple Endowment, along with other very interesting and horrifying teachings, such as, women, needing to be married to a god like Brigham Young, and basically being invited to ditch their husbands who were lower in the priesthood and hook up with Brigham and his pals who were destined to be gods. Yeah, this was taught in the celestial room and or maybe at the lectures at the Vale. Things have changed a lot in the LDS endowment. That seems a little odd. Joseph Smith taught that it was eternal and revealed from Jesus Christ and should be unchanging. The oath of vengeance upon the United States government and all those who supported it, vengeance because of the murders of Joseph and Hiram Smith at Carthage. This is another thing that was in the LDS endowment and has been dropped. Many of the Masonic aspects regarding signs, tokens, and penalties especially have been dropped from the endowment. Oddly enough, the penalties seem to be dropped only a few years after the Scottish Rite is said to have dropped the same penalties in their initiation rites. That having taken place, I believe, in 1986, whereas the LDS Church seemed to follow suit 4 years later during the court meeting around 1990. Do these things seem troubling? They were troubling to me. I was always troubled when I learned Joseph Smith joined the Freemasons. I was more troubled when I learned and read personally writings of Manly, actually not Manly P. Hall, so much as Albert Pike, who was basically the most powerful and celebrated Masonic leader of the 19th century, who wrote many things, or several things, being very explicit about following Lucifer. Why would Joseph Smith need to join an organization led by those who openly worshiped Lucifer in order to gain portions of the endowment, which he said were revealed to him directly by Jesus Christ? Why would God call a prophet in the latter days and then send him off to a Luciferian religion parading as just a jolly men's club in order to restore the most sacred portions of Mormonism to the temple ordinances, or portions of them? Does that make any sense to you? Of course it doesn't. Well, these are some of the problematic things that tend to be covered out. What about Negroes? What about Lamanites? What about the curse of the skin of blackness? What about the changes in what have been taught about that? Well, many years ago, like around when 1978 came around, we had been hearing things in the church like, well, the Negroes just are last in line to get the priesthood. We didn't really talk about the whole temple ban thing. We were told, well, God has an order of doing it. You see, he gave the priesthood first to the house of Israel, and then later, Peter was directed to take the gospel to the Gentiles. They don't emphasize the fact that Jesus told the Canaanitish woman that the gospel wasn't there for the dogs. He didn't say gospel. He said that which is, for the children, she cast to the dogs because she was a Canaanitish woman, which basically indicates being a Negro. So she wasn't an Israelite, and Jesus didn't want to heal her child. But she begged him enough, saying things like, Master, even the dogs lick up the crumbs that fall from the master's table. And he said something like, Woman, I haven't seen so much faith in all Israel. Go home, your daughter's healed. Why wouldn't Jesus just heal her daughter anyway? Why did she have to beg and beg? In fact, he didn't even acknowledge her at first. He just basically ignored her the way the story tells it. Why would he do that? Why was Jesus being so racist and mean? Who knows? I didn't write the Roman gospel there. But what we learned was that Mormonism was just following in the footsteps of Jesus, having an order in which he restored certain blessings. The Negroes were just going to have to wait. But what was Brigham Young teaching about this? I said in other videos that the real reason behind the priesthood ban and the temple ban, in my opinion, probably stems from the fact that Joseph Smith introduced temple endowment rights, Masonic rights and signs and tokens from a white rite of Freemasonry, the York Rite. And since he had to swear on penalty of death not to reveal these things to non-Masons, revealing them to Negroes who could not join the York Rite or the Scottish Rite would be an obvious violation and set him up to be killed, just like Captain William Morgan was killed for revealing such things previously. Joseph Smith apparently hooked up with Captain William Morgan's wife, or widow, after she remarried a fellow named Harris. She's shown as being one of Joseph Smith's plural wives, or sealed to him, despite the fact that she wasn't even ever a member of the LDS Church. She just claimed to Sister Pratt, the wife of Apostle Orson Pratt, that she had been Joseph Smith's mistress for the past several years, when Sister Pratt went to, quote, unbosom her grief of Joseph Smith basically trying to talk her into bed while her husband was on a mission in Europe. That's right, Orson Pratt was off on a mission, and Joseph Smith and John Bennett came over to pay a visit to Sister Pratt. Sister Pratt apparently says that Joseph Smith said words to the effect of, Sister Pratt, I have long looked upon you with horniness and lust, basically. Anyway, the Lord has revealed unto me that you are to be one of my spiritual wives, and I hope that you will not repulse me. And then she is shown as sealed to him in LDS records on Family Search. What's the justification for this? Section 132 of the Doctrine and Covenants does not authorize hooking up with other dudes' wives. It says Joseph Smith can hook up with as many virgins as he wanted to. The number 10 virgins are mentioned, but basically it's unlimited, as long as they are virgins and worthy of his attentions. Well, if they're married to another guy, that doesn't quite work. So LDS apologists such as Brian Hales tell us that this was for dynastic purposes. Dynastic, and that Joseph Smith wasn't getting frisky with these girls since they were married, and that's a little bit too much over the adultery line for even Hales to reconcile. Okay, so like I said earlier, Joseph Smith repulsed me. Now, can we get down to business? Anyway, something fairly close to that. And when she refused him, the Orson Hyde's wife apparently did not, and Josephine sealed to Joseph Smith. He also was on a mission. So, you go on a mission, and the prophet comes and hooks up with your wife, or at least tries to. And then she is shown, like I said earlier, Joseph Smith's taken these guys' wives for all eternity, and he's being sealed to them. So So that's the dynastic palace. What? Taking away their wives, so these guys need to go out and get other women. Start off fresh. Did they? Apparently, some of them did. Worse than Pratt did, even though his wife wouldn't give it up to Frisky Joe. He wound up having so many women that Sarah Pratt eventually did divorce him, even when they lived in Utah. She did say of Joseph Smith that he was the most lascivious man she had ever met, and Brigham the most bloodthirsty. I don't think I'm going to get too much into the old Brigham Young the bloodthirsty thing here, but I might add a little bit. LDS apologists tell us that things that Brigham Young taught were his opinions, false doctrines, or the false theories of men. These are the ways that the LDS leaders have basically tried to distance themselves from things that Brigham Young said were actually the law of God, eternal truths, such as the blood atonement doctrine, saying that the blood of Jesus Christ did not cover certain sins, such as apostasy or second offense adultery, and the only way to keep from being in outer darkness for eternity was to pay for these sins yourself by having your blood shed. There is one account of a brother having to dig his own grave and then having his throat slit and dumping him into the grave. They took his clothes, his bloody clothes, and had his wife wash them, and instructed her to say that he had gone to California. This is one of the 6 accounts of what was associated with blood atonement. The blood atonement doctrine, like the Adam is God doctrine, are now basically called theories or false teachings and opinions, even though Brigham Young stated that he had never taught anything from the pulpit there, General Conference, etc., that could not be considered as scripture. Also, President Ezra Taft Benson, as the prophet, seer, and revelator of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, reaffirmed Brigham's teaching in his 14 points of following the prophet talk at Brigham Young University. He not only reiterated Brigham Young's statement there, he endorsed it. He endorsed Brigham saying that anything he taught basically was to be considered scripture. President Benson also emphasized that we understand that the scripture in the Doctrine and Covenants stating that we should give heed unto all his words as if from mine own mouth. In other words, Jesus Christ is supposedly saying this about Joseph Smith and or subsequent presidents of the church, that we needed to give heed unto all their words, not just those where they said, thus saith the Lord. So, President Benson was emphatic in saying that you needed to pay attention to all his words, not just those where we heard, thus saith the Lord, or somebody said, this is official doctrine of the church, all of the 12 that adopted it were a corporate board of directors to which the 12 and the first presidency belong in the corporate structure of the church, saying that its official doctrine is necessary. No, President Benson said, pay attention to all his words. Just like section 1 of the Doctrine and Covenants says, Jesus saying, whether by my own voice or the voice of my servants, it is the same. In other words, if they say it, it's true. We don't need to give it some sort of label like it's official doctrine. Either it's true or it's a lie. But LDS apologists and church leaders like to kind of try to squirm out of these things that Brigham Young, Orson Pratt, and Heber C. Kimball, and probably Jedediah Grant taught that are problematic for the church. Not to mention things reiterated by Joseph Fielding Smith, Mark E. Peterson, and Bruce R. McConkie, justifying why God would send his spirit children into Negro families who were cursed to not be able to attend the temple, not be able to enter the highest degree of the celestial kingdom, because they couldn't be married to the temple or hold the holy priesthood, and justified this by saying that they were fence sitters during the great dispute or war in heaven. In other words, they were doing something else, while everyone who was valiant was vigorously arguing all day and all night. Well, I don't even think there was night there. They just kept arguing. And the more you argued and said, we need to follow the plan that supports Elohim's plan, or whatever he was supposed to be called, God the Father. I don't want to say by Jehovah, but I guess I could, even though that's a whole other story, since Jehovah never existed. It's something the Catholics made up much later, and couldn't have been part of the LDS theology for premortal Jesus. Anyway, if you argued all day about how we needed to follow the plan of Heavenly Father, supported by his firstborn spirit child who became Jesus, which stated, I will not force you to keep my commandments, rather than the plan of Lucifer, who said, I will make sure that they keep the commandments, so that way they won't have any sin. Then I can be their Savior without having to suffer anything, because there won't have been any sin, and they can all enter the presence of God again, since they won't be tarnished with sin. So, people supposedly were arguing about that in the pre-mortal existence, and if you argue the best and the most diligently, then you're the most valiant and get to be quite delightsome and born into the church. If you argued only part-time, you might wind up being Chinese or something, according to Marky Peterson, I would say. I'll just say that that's the gist of what the justification was. And that, well, if you were born as a Negro, you basically found something else to do, but you didn't follow Lucifer. Unless you're listening to John Taylor, who said that the Negroes made it through the flood so that Satan would have representation upon the earth. Yeah, John Taylor. The same guy who had 12 wives at the same time that he was telling people in Europe and publishing, I believe, even a pamphlet, saying that there was no polygamy in Utah, lying through his teeth. Third president of the church, John Taylor. Why don't we see the Journal of Discourses on LDS.org prominently displayed on the home page? I guess you're figuring out that it would be a problem for us to read what the brethren were teaching back then. The things the LDS Church now disavows is basically false theory. False theories like Negroes were fence sitters. Well, if they weren't fence sitters, then why was God cursing them? How do you justify God putting people in less favorable circumstances and born into a lineage where they're not allowed to receive the priesthood or attend the temple, thus hiding the real reason that Negroes could not have the priesthood or attend the temple, in my view, which was because the LDS leadership would be violating the Masonic covenants and sharing signs and tokens with people who were not allowed to be in one of the white rites of Freemasonry. They had their own rite called the Prince Hall Rite of Freemasonry, which, by the way, white boys cannot join either. So, everybody's got their own racism. It wasn't necessarily Joseph Smith's fault that the Masons had this segregation, but he evidently wanted to use the power of Freemasonry in Mormonism to bind people to blind obedience and loyalty to him, which is what was done in the Danites and the Council of 50. The Council of 50 tended to contain some of the people in Joseph Smith's inner circle that participated in the spiritual wife system, which you don't see discussed much at all. The spiritual wife system was not polygamy. In the spiritual wife system, hundreds of women within Nauvoo made their bodies available to Joseph Smith and his inner circle. This is testified to by Joseph H. Jackson and basically confirmed by things that Sarah Pratt told us, saying that Joseph Smith didn't introduce his sealing doctrine until he wound up having women that were turning him down based on his Hosea chapter 3 doctrine, secret doctrine, where they needed to head to the bedroom with him while their husbands were out of the house. According to Joseph Jackson, no less than 600 women were involved in the spiritual life system in Nauvoo, where Joseph Smith basically had a sexual smorgasbord, and him being the leader of the cult, basically as the alpha male, could reward those who were loyal to him with the pleasures of the kingdom. No, it wasn't about Joseph Smith laboring to support poor widows. If you heard that, you were lied to, and there's abundant evidence on that. I had done a reading of the Joseph Smith testimony, sworn testimony about what occurred in Nauvoo in about 10 of my videos. You can listen to it or you can read it yourself. You should also read the Confessions of John Doyle Lee, who was sealed to Brigham Young so that he could become a god too. He was a Danite and testified that Brigham Young did order multiple murders through the Danite hit squads. He did talk about what happened at Mountain Meadows and his participation. He actually was the one and only person who was killed for that, and it was much later when there was pressure put upon Brigham Young to do something about basically finding a scapegoat and punish them. Men sealed to men. Yes, that required a temple, by the way, is what I've read. It's more holy than being sealed to women. Well, that's more deep LDS doctrine that you won't find in seminary or gospel doctrine class. These are hidden doctrines and secret doctrines that have been changed. So the LDS leaders keep changing their story. Like I said,